You have been studying Claude architecture for weeks, but are you preparing for the right questions? In this video, I will show you the exact questions hiring managers ask to separate qualified candidates from the rest, and more importantly, how to answer them in a way that proves your expertise. Most architects fail these simple questions. Here's why. Think of it like a test. If you cannot clearly articulate the system's core structure, how can you design robust solutions on top of it? This question is a litmus test for your entire architectural understanding. You are proving you grasp the engine before you are trusted to build the vehicle. When describing Claude's architecture, the key insight is that you are not just listing parts, you are revealing the system's intelligence flow. You must explain the foundational data layer, the sophisticated model orchestration logic, and the critical API management gateway. This suggests you understand the operational intelligence, not just the technical blueprint. The true test is translating that technical blueprint into business impact. Focus on explaining how the model's layered design ensures reliability, drives innovation velocity, and manages operational cost. You are showing you can build not just a system, but a strategic asset that delivers tangible value from every technical decision. Your answer to "What is Claude?" is wrong. Here's why. Think of Claude not as a single car but as a fleet. The metrics that matter aren't about one car's top speed, but the system's total efficiency, how quickly the fleet delivers, at what consistent cost, and with perfect safety. The key insight is that you optimize the entire supply chain, not just the engine. Let's shift from theory to tactics. For knowledge-heavy Q&A, you compress context with retrieval and enforce structured outputs to cut processing waste. In creative tasks, you maximize quality by carefully balancing temperature with meticulous prompt engineering. The principle is surgical precision. Match the optimization technique directly to the job's core demand. Think of this not as a single answer, but as a three-legged stool. Push down on speed, and cost or accuracy may wobble. Chase perfect accuracy, and speed often suffers. Your job is to explain which leg you'll reinforce for their specific business goal, because every optimization is a conscious sacrifice somewhere else. Claude Architect interviews test this one misunderstood skill. Think of a system design answer like constructing a skyscraper. You must first present the strong, clear foundation, your architectural blueprint. Then, methodically build upward, layer by layer, ensuring each component logically supports the next. The real skill isn't listing materials, it is demonstrating how your structural vision creates a stable, functional, and enduring whole. The most frequent and critical mistake is focusing on technology instead of reasoning. You must articulate the why behind every choice, connecting each component to a core user need or system constraint. If you only list tools and patterns without this narrative thread, you fail to demonstrate the strategic thinking they are hiring for. Now, Claude has no memory between sessions. So, your entire design must externalize and manage context for it. The pattern is simple. Every user interaction must be bundled with its relevant history. You are building the system's memory, making Claude's primary limitation the central pillar of your architecture. Hiring managers ask these 6 questions to immediately reject candidates. Let's get concrete. Edge cases separate theory from experience. Think missing user data at system scale, API timeouts under sudden load, or malformed inputs that slip past validation. Describing how you'd log, isolate, and recover from these scenarios shows you have built systems that survive the real world, not just function in theory. That's practical confidence. Here's the brutal truth. Testing strategies are a trap if you rely on them. Validation isn't a pre-launch checklist, it's a continuous feedback system. You must architect for the unpredictable. The real skill is designing flows where Claude's inevitable misinterpretations become inputs, not failures, creating a self-correcting loop that learns from its own edge cases. Documentation isn't paperwork. It is the blueprint for resilience that you leave for the next engineer. The senior architect is reading for one thing: can your system explain its own failures? Your design's true sophistication is revealed not by what it handles, but by how clearly it logically reports what it couldn't. You cannot answer Claude without knowing its hidden evaluation blueprint. To nail this, you must think beyond simple APIs. The key insight is that real projects demand asynchronous communication. What this means is designing systems that handle failures gracefully. The pattern clearly indicates a shift toward event-driven architectures, where services remain decoupled and scalable under load. Here's what's really happening: resilience isn't optional. You must decide based on data flow, not just preference. If services require immediate consistency, choose synchronous request response. However, for unpredictable workloads or high volumes, the pattern clearly indicates event-driven messaging is superior. What this means is you are building a system that can absorb shocks and scale independently. Security is not just about encryption, it's about identity and intent in a fragmented system. Your biggest risk is unverified services sending events. The key insight is to authenticate the sender and authorize every action at the message level itself, not just at the network perimeter. Here's what's really happening: trust is established with every single event. Think you are ready? These questions trick most candidates instantly. This is the moment your entire technical credibility rests on. The key insight is they are listening for how you translate complex architecture into clear business impact. They aren't just evaluating your solution, they are judging if you can be trusted to explain it to a client or executive. What this means is your communication bridges the gap between pure engineering and strategic value. Structure every answer with the AI-specific STAR framework. Situation must highlight data complexity, task requires quantifying ROI, action details your model governance, and the result proves adaptability under new constraints. The pattern clearly indicates they are testing if your process is repeatable for scaling intelligence, not just solving a single problem. This question reveals whether you see stakeholders as partners, not obstacles. Your answer must show you translate complex AI concepts into clear business outcomes they actually care about. What this means is you bridge the gap between technical potential and real-world value, ensuring the intelligence you build solves a human problem. You now know the exact questions to prepare for Claude Architect interviews. You understand what hiring managers are really testing with each question. You have frameworks to structure impressive, technical answers. Practice these questions with a focus on the specific components we discussed.